Hi, this is the third video of the series on virtual robot module in RoboAnalyzer as a part of RoboAnalyzer based online competition. And in this rather long video, we'll be looking at how to write MATLAB program to generate end effect trajectory for any 6-axis robot, and how can we import that in virtual robot module in RoboAnalyzer to demonstrate the motion. Okay, so before we start off, I would like to inform you that we have similar videos. In fact, if you go to roboanalyzer.com, there is a video lectures link. Within that, there are many videos that we would suggest you to go through. And as a part of this ROC, RoboAnalyzer based online competition, we had developed a couple of weeks back few more videos, especially related to MATLAB. So if you are new to MATLAB, I would request you to please go through these videos before you attempt the current one, because all of these are precursors or prerequisites for the current video. Okay, so in the current video I'm going to just use one of these. So for example, the motion planning, the last video. So the code is shown in MATLAB. So if you do not have MATLAB, you can try to use Octave or any other free alternative to MATLAB. So this is an online version of MATLAB that I have from a university, and hence you can see that the code very quickly. I'll run what is happening inside this. So there is a 2R planar robot. So we are asking it the tip of the robot to trace a straight line starting from a point P1 till point P2. As you can see, the dark blue is one of the link, the light blue is the second link. It's like our arm, it is trying to draw a line. So technically what is happening here is, from P1 to P2 we have divided different number of points, and for each of the points we do something known as inverse kinematics. Okay, so the same analogy extends to a 6R robot also. Okay, now in RoboAnalyzer virtual robot module, the 6R input file should have this format. I'm just opening one of them to show you. Okay, so column A will have the x coordinate of all the points you want to go. Okay, then column B will have y component, column C is z component or z coordinate of the end tip point. Then these are the Euler angles ABC that we use in the software. So as you can see, I'm not changing in this sample, the angles are not changing. So that means that end effector orientation does not change. It will always remain the same, whatever it is. Okay, only the XYZ coordinates are getting changed. I think for beginners this is good. We can just play around with the XYZ coordinates. And technically the first row will be the home position. That means from where you are starting the motion. So depending on the robot, you may decide what should be the coordinate here. Even otherwise, the robot basically it will try to map, and it will do a relative motion, right? So you don't really have to worry too much about the coordinates what you get here, but the relative motion should be there for all of these points. Okay, so this is related to a heart, drawing a heart shape in KUKA. So I'll be trying to explain the formulation first, the mathematics part very briefly. Then we'll try to write the code. We'll get this file, the data, we'll save it in a file, and then finally we'll open this in virtual robot module and try to see the animation. Okay, so let me close this file. So we'll start off with our derivation part. Okay, so we want to draw a heart shape on, say for reference we will use on a plane parallel to uh, yeah, parallel to YZ plane. So that means I have a robot like this. and if this is my x direction, I will have a plane something like this, and this robot will draw a heart on this plane. That is what we want. You can change the plane accordingly, that's not a problem. Okay, so that means in our sample we'll have x as some constant value. Later on we'll change it and we'll see what happens. Okay, now so that means I'll have if I look from here, I'll have a frame, plane basically, and I can assign my YZ coordinate system like this, because if x is here, y is coming towards me and z is up. So when I look from here, y is on the right side. Okay, I'll choose one of the points, so somewhere here, as YH and maybe ZH, corresponding to the home position, right? So obviously this distance I'll consider as XH, X home. I don't want to change that distance. Okay, now within this we want to go on a line which I can either use it this way. So this will be my first line, and then I will have two semicircles drawn. See, I'm just doing a sample. You can have any shape drawn. So I'll have two semicircle drawn. So there will be one semicircle like this, and there will be another semicircle like this, and finally we'll have one more straight line. This is one way of getting a heart shape. There is also some function called cartoid. You can try that as well. It's a continuous function. Okay, so we'll name some points because we need to get around this. I'll just extend this guy. I'll make it big. Well, it's okay, we'll just have it that way. So this point I'll call it as, say, P H, a home position coordinate. This is P1, P2, P3. Okay, so these coordinates we need some value, otherwise we'll not be able to draw this shape. Okay, now I'll just do the formulation here very quickly. So to draw this semicircle, see, straight line is fine. If I want to go from PH to P1, so I'll have intermediate points basically along this path. Okay, so if I know the direction of this vector, direction of the vector, and if I know the coordinates of this, using linear interpolation I will get it. Okay, this is already there in the 2R motion planning. How do we do it? Okay, we'll write the MATLAB code for this, please don't worry. Now this semicircle part I have not covered, so I have a point here from P1 to P2. Okay, so this semicircle part, if I want to draw the trajectory or get the coordinates along this semicircle path, one way of doing is I can get this C1 point which corresponds to the center of this curve. Okay, now how do I get this C1 point? C1 is basically the midpoint between P1 and P2. Okay, so C1 vector can be obtained by just doing P1 plus P2 divided by 2. Right, so when we do it, we'll get the coordinates of this point C1. It's a midpoint formula that we all know. Okay, so once we get this C1, we should be able to draw every point on this curve using our R theta formulation. Okay, a point on this curve, any point, say I'll call P, can be obtained as C1 vector plus C1 is basically I have some reference frame here. Okay, if it is YZ, so C1 vector plus within this I will have, so please remember my X value will be some constant, which is in this case if it is some XH. My Y component will have R cos theta, and the Z component will be R sin theta for a given theta value. Now depending on how you want to go, if you want to go from here till here, I'll have to change my theta from 0 to 180 degrees or 0 to pi radians. Okay, so if I want my semicircle to come like that, I'll have to decrement, so it will become pi to 0, negative increments, which is decrement. So depending on what you want, if you want to draw a shape like P, obviously you'll have to combine some of these points to get your formulation correct. Okay, so having said that, what I have mentioned is if you want to draw a straight line, it is straightforward. You just need a line equation. If you want to draw a curve, you will have to use the parametric equation of a circle. Parametric equation of a circular arc. Okay, so let me just try to start MATLAB and then we'll formulate this and get the end effector coordinates. Please remember, we are not doing inverse kinematics of 6-axis robot here. We are just trying to get the trajectory of the end point, because RoboAnalyzer will do it for us. Okay, fine. So let me just try to get these in place. I just need those coordinates. Okay, so I would start fresh. I can use this information. However, it's always better we start fresh. So first and foremost, we should always have CLC clear all CLF. CLF is for clear of figure. And then we will now try to get the input values. We have PH, P1, P2, P3. Okay, so I'll have PH, point H, as I'm going to define a vector, so I'll call it again 800. Let me put it as a column vector. Okay, 0, 800. So this is our home position. 800 is my XH, then 0 and 800 are basically the, so that means my Y frame is somewhere like this. This is how it is going to be actually. Okay, so that is PH. Now we need to get P1, P2, P3. So from this geometry we can understand, we can just give some dimension here. Along H, I want to probably go, this is a robot, maybe 200 is good. 200, and the diff, this width could be 100 on each side. So basically it will be width is 200 from PH to P2, the height is 200, and the width between P1 and P3 will be 200 also. Okay, so this is an example I have. So P1 will be XH is all going to be the same, 800. Y will make it as 100, and Z we will make it as 200. That is point P1. Similarly, we'll have point P2. Now P2 is directly above PH, so Y component will just be 0, and P3 will have Y component of minus 100. Everything else is same. Okay, so this has been implemented. So I'll just try to keep all in one row so that we have more space. Now we need to have a variable which will save these data points as we proceed ahead. One way in these videos I have created px arrays as zeros. Even otherwise also we can do. So let me just try to have a dynamically allotted array. Okay, so right now we'll not worry about it. So I just want to start with linear between ph and p1. So we want to go linearly between ph and p1, and each step we'll try to put it. Okay, so I'll also have n, which is number of steps in each of these. Maybe I'll use 50 of those. Okay, okay, so for I is equal to 1 to n. Okay, so this is the format. I want to increment I from 1 in step of 1 till n. Okay, so here we need to know the delta p vector to get the immediate next point. Okay, so the delta p vector does not change, it is constant for this line segment. So I'll have delta p is equal to, I need to subtract p1 minus ph. So when I do p1 minus ph, I'll get the vector from ph to p1. It's a big vector. Okay, this whole thing divided by n. So that means I'll have smaller sized vector. Okay, so this is one way of doing this delta p business. Or you just write delta p as p1 minus ph, and you take the value of a parameter from 0 to 1. That is what we would have done here. You see, there is a parameter t array that we took from 0 to 1, and we use this value. So maybe I'll just use the same, otherwise you may get confused. Let me write t array is equal to linearly spaced between 0 and 1 in n steps. Okay, now we'll get the current value of t from t array ith index, and will now get the corresponding point. Okay, the current point is say p, which is p1 plus t into delta p. This is linear interpolation. Please refer to the earlier video why we have this. So if t equal to 0, we'll get ph. Sorry, it should be ph. If t is equal to 0, the point is ph. If t equal to 1, so basically you will have ph plus delta p into 1. So delta p is ph plus p1 minus p1. Ph you will get cancelled, so you will get p1. So we are moving from ph to p1 in linear interpolation. That is what it is. Okay, now this point p will have xyz coordinate. Okay, so we need to get these coordinates because ultimately we will require those in RoboAnalyzer. So I'll write px array ith index. See, I'm not initializing it for a reason, because I don't know how many shapes are there. So I just want to keep on adding elements to it. Ith element will be p point, the first. Okay, so this is x component. p1 means x component. Okay, sorry, I sometimes mix the syntax, so this is what it is. Okay, so don't worry about the underline. It says the variable is increasing with uh, iteration, so it is not an efficient way, but it's okay, we'll just live with it. So similarly we'll have py pz, and we'll get the second and third element for the y and z component. Okay, so that's it. When we run this, our px py pz array will have all the points from ph to p1. Just to make sure what it is, let me just save it. Okay, we are in the current directory. Let me save it as end effector trajectory. Okay, I can't use a hyphen, capital T. Okay, so if I just run it, what will happen? Let's see. Okay, so the figure shouldn't have appeared anyway. So if you look at the workspace, so we do have px array, py array, pz array. If I double click on px array, yeah, so this is what is shown. It is appearing this way, that's fine in the row. Similarly py array and pz array will also be shown to you. You can see py array, the values are shown. It is increasing as we proceed ahead. Okay, if we want this to be appearing vertical, let me see what will happen if I just remove these semicolons. I could have just done the transpose. Nevertheless, let me try. And now if we run it, if we get column, I think we'll prefer this way. Okay, it is still row. Let us go back to our earlier with semicolon. At least technically we are correct. These are column vectors. Okay, so we have coordinates from ph to p1. Now we'll go from p1 to p2. That is circular motion. So this is circular arc from p1 to p2 centered at c1. Okay, so this angle by default we know it is 180 degrees, and the formulation says we have to get the center of these 2 points. Okay, so how do we get the center? I'll have a vector c1 which is basically p1 plus p2 plus p2 divided by 2. Okay, so when we do this, we are getting the center point c1. Okay, now we also need to get the radius. So one way of doing the radius is we have sorry, I have to go there. Radius is, I can get a vector p1 minus c1 and I'll get the length of that vector. That is one way of doing. So we'll just say length of p1 minus c1. What does it say? Okay, so I should have p1 is here, c1 is here. p1 minus c1 p2. Let me just try to put one more parenthesis and see whether it works. Okay, yeah, so p1 minus c1 is determined first as a vector, and then we'll determine the length of that vector. That is what is radius. Okay, now we'll go from theta minimum to theta maximum. Theta min is 0, theta max is pi. Please remember, it is in radians, not degrees. Okay, so we'll now have delta theta, because delta theta also we'll have it constant. Delta theta is theta max minus theta min. Okay, and if you want, you can okay, let it be this way, because we'll just use similar to what we have here. Linspace delta theta. I'm just wondering, should we have a theta array as well, which will make our life simpler. Okay, so instead of delta theta, please excuse me, we'll just use theta array. Theta array, which is going from theta minimum to theta maximum in n steps. So all the incremental values we'll get it here in theta array. Okay, now so we already have a set of x and y coordinates. We don't want to overwrite them. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll have length or already trajectory points is length of one of those px array. Okay, so what we do is we will get this length and we'll use it in the coming lines. I'll explain why we have done that. Okay, now we'll again go for I is equal to 1 to n. Okay, now we will want to get the current theta value. Theta is equal to theta array ith element, we'll get that value, and we have the radius and the corresponding theta. So we are going to use this form C1 plus RH r cos theta r sin theta. Okay, now the P that we have, the current point, is going to be C1 plus, I'll have a vector which will have P H first coordinate, so that is xh. Okay, now r into cos theta. Now what is the theta value? Theta is what we are going from step by step. So this r cos theta will be radius into cos of theta. Now please remember, this theta has to be radians, otherwise you'll have difficulty. Okay, then we'll have radius into sine of theta. Okay, so these points, when we do the iteration, we'll get the value of P. Now we have to be a bit careful here. If I use I, we'll override the linear terms. Okay, so instead of using that, I'll use plus here. So that means I already had few points, I'm just going to add on top of it. Okay, so since we want to have it 3 times, I would rather use it as a new variable inside this. I'll call it as index, like this. Okay, now this index I'll call inside and get the correct index. Instead of I, I'll use index now. Okay, so we have done the next circular arc. Okay, so apparently there is no error here, I don't know, warning. That's fine. So similarly we have reached P2, and from P2 we have to again come to P3. So let me just try to repeat this step. So we now want to go from P2 to P3, and it will be centered at the second circle, that is C2, in between these. Now C2 is midpoint of P2 and P3. Fairly simple, you will be able to quickly pick it up. Radius also is P3 minus P2 or P2 minus C1, C2, whatever you do, P3 minus C2 is fine. Again we are going from left to right, so minimum is 0, maximum is pi. Okay, so we do same theta array. So this you can ignore since it is the same, we already have the data. Now already trajectory points, here it was only till earlier. After this we'll have an updated length, the size will be bigger now. Okay, now the theta will again go from I1 to n. Instead of C1 we'll now use C2, and xh is still same, and we'll have r cos theta, r sin theta, same thing that we have from there till here. That's it. So the second circular curve has been done. Now we'll do the line, the third between P3 and H. P3 and PH. So now delta P will be, please remember it is second point minus first point, because we have to go from the first point to the second point. So this is how we write delta P vector. T array we already have, I don't need to do it again unless you want to have better or different resolution. So I'll just comment it. So here the first point is P3, P3 plus T into delta P, and we'll get these. And obviously we have to be careful, instead of using I, I'm going to use this index. Obviously it's not correct yet, I also need to get this line. Okay, so we'll just save it and we will just run it. Ideally we should at least have 200 points, 50 for each in px, py, pz. Okay, so that is what you see: px array, py array, pz array. So in one of the videos I had told you how to get the CSV file, because we need to output these. One way of doing is px output. Let's try this. Px array I already have, I'll just say transpose of this. Okay, because we need the columns. So when I do this, I'll get the transpose. Right now it is 1 into 200, I'll get 200 into 1. Similarly I'll do py output, which is py array transpose, and pz output. Okay, so let us run this. So I'm not interested in the figure now, you can try to do it for your own understanding, but my formulation is good, so I am happy with this. Now if you see px, py, pz, it is in column format. Okay, last video I told you how to export this as CSV. You can do it, or you can also try to open an Excel file, a blank Excel file, and paste from MATLAB. Okay, so I'll try that now. Px output, it is showing the value. I'll just take all these values. Maybe I can just select it, Control C. I come here and I select A and okay. Yeah, something happened. No, it didn't get selected properly. Let me try to. It's supposed to have 200 only. Okay, so I have Control C. Okay, apparently it doesn't work that way. I'll just figure out, is there any other way I can copy this guy? No, there isn't much. Is there any way I can copy, save? Okay, let me try to save this as .mat. Okay, let's try. If it not works, then we'll go back to our sorry CSV file. Okay, we do have a file. Let me just open it and see what it has. Okay, sorry, it doesn't work that way. So now we'll have to export these outputs as CSV file. I think somewhere in my previous video I had done that. I would have forgotten. So export CSV in MATLAB, because some of the okay, CSV write, there is an option. Use metrics, CSV write. Okay, let me try CSV write help in MATLAB. Help CSV write. Okay, so we do have file name, write matrix M into file name as comma separated values. Yeah, this is what we want. So we have to give the file name and the variable. Okay, so I have px output, py output, py output. So I'll go there, I'll write CSV write file name. Let me give it as px output. Then this is px output again. Yeah, px output. That's it. Or maybe I'm supposed to give a file name. It should be a string. Let's see. Okay, so in the folder you can see there is a file that is saved. So I can open it, or I'll have to download it. Okay, you can see it is saved all 800s. Fine. Let me try to quickly do the same. So if I use up arrow, it will let me get the last commands. You can just quickly change. And similarly I'll have for PZ. Okay, so we do have three files, px, py, pz output. So I would like to download those. Okay, so I think I'll be able to right click. Where is download? Download. Okay, maybe one at a time. Yeah, so it allows me to download. If you are using a local version, it's not a problem, you can use it fairly well. I'm just going to my browser, px output. I'll save that. Similarly, py output, I'm downloading it. Pz output, again it's getting downloaded. There could be a better way of doing it, but nevertheless this is one way of doing. Okay, now this px output I can open with multiple things, so I just use a notepad ++, see whether it works. Okay, I can just copy from a notepad file and paste it here. Similarly, py output, I'll just copy and paste it in the second column. Then pz output, I'll copy this and again paste it in the third column. Now if you remember, in the earlier CSV file we just had 90 0 90, we didn't change the Euler angle. I'll just let it remain 90. I just need to double click, so then it will copy all those in the same format. So we have some 200 entries. Okay, let me save this as a new file, and to begin with I can have it in an Excel as well as, okay, new heart shape. Okay, so I'll just save it. I also need to save it as a CSV file. Please remember, comma separated value, CSV. Yeah, anything is fine. I think this is what, comma delimited, comma delimited. Yeah, this one is okay. Save it. So we have done. Okay, so this is how we have a file which has 6 columns. Let me repeat. The first one is the x coordinate, second is y, third is z coordinate, and D, E, F correspond to the Euler angles of the wrist. We don't want to change that when our robot is moving. One important thing is you should save it, close the Excel file, Excel application, otherwise RoboAnalyzer will have issues. Now let me try to go to virtual robot modules. So the way we have drawn, it is at 800 0800. Okay, so let me try to take KUKA KR5 IND. I think this is what is the file, which is almost 800 0800, right? Initial point, and you can see this is having 90 090 as the initial configuration. Okay, so I'll go to Cartesian control, and there is a file function here. So I need to click on this file, and we will be able to browse to our input files. So this is a new heart shape. I browsed it and I have to click on start. Okay, something else happened. What was that? Okay, so the robot is behaving very differently. It could happen to you also. I'll just figure out why this happened. Okay, let us try to analyze the difference between this heart and the new heart. So the first one had 800 0800, all these values, all 800s were there. And the new one, 800 0800. Yeah, apparently there is no issue. This is the old one. If I try to run old one, let us see. I'll just go to home position, and obviously if I want to again use file, I'll have to click on relative and click on file. So I'll just use the earlier heart. Yeah, that is, this error is because I kept it opened here, so I'll have to close it, then only it will allow me to read it. heart. Okay, maybe the format had some issue. Let us see. So now you can see here that the motion is happening properly. I'll just stop it. Now I'll just open these two files in Notepad to understand the difference. So there is a comma and entry. Similarly here, open with Notepad, it looks similar. I don't understand why that issue came. Let me run it again. Home position, relative, file, new heart shape, 90 0 90 90 0 90. Why is it going there? XYZ. Sorry for this, it sometimes happens. Maybe something is missing. Let me just debug that because it's important. You will also definitely get into this aspect. Let us quickly see what is happening. This has all 800. Okay, I can't have 200s here. Maybe the motion itself is not good. Somewhere you see here I should have increased the Z value, so it has come down drastically. It has come to 200. Oh, there is a 1600 here. Why did this become 1600 and again it became 800? Okay, so in our MATLAB code somewhere I think there is a mistake. pH. Okay, now I understand what is the problem. See, C2 already has a pH. Okay, in the circular motion C2 it is already at the same location, so I should have used 0 there. Similarly here in the circular motion I should have used a 0. Okay, so because C1 already has XH, it is making it double. It's good that we get these issues. Now what I'll do is I'll just maybe change this and put it till below all 800s. Okay, so here I'm still worried why it is reducing. I wanted it to go up. It goes to 200 and then yeah, there is an issue. Why is it happening? Okay, let me just run this and see. See, I'm pretty sure you'll also have this issue. We'll just understand what is happening. New heart shape. I'll click on start. Okay, so it is going down. If I go to front view, yeah, something is happening which is not favorable and it comes back. Okay, so in our formulation there is a mistake somewhere. Okay, let us go back to our formulation. I was confident that it is good, but apparently it is not. This is P1 pH. Okay, so I should have given 1000 here. My mistake. Okay, because we wanted Z to go up. Similarly, this should have been 1000. P3 also should have been 1000. Sorry. So we have the initial points given properly now. I mixed up absolute coordinates with relative coordinates. My bad. So rest of the things are fine. Px, Py, Pz is also good. So let me just run this. Editor, run. Okay, just to be sure, I'll just click on px output. I shouldn't see any 1600s. Okay, all are 800s, which is good. So I'll just close this guy, and we need to export these XYZ again. I'll go to home, download. Yeah, I'll just overwrite it. Similarly, py output, download, overwrite, pz output. No, sorry, I should have done this also. So I should do px, I should do py, py output, because we have to write the files, and pz output. Okay, so after this we are supposed to download. Okay, I'll just download it now. Px, overwrite, yes, py, download, overwrite, and pz, download, overwrite. Okay, so we have done that part. Now we'll go back and I'll just again open in Notepad. So this is all. Let me just I should close it. No, no, I can just reload it. Px, okay, all 800s. Control A, Control C. I'll just open the Excel file, new heart shape. I'm going to overwrite the data here. Let me just get rid of these. Control C, paste. Similarly, I'll go for py. Yeah, let's be careful. So it is increasing, which is good. So I'll go there and I'll paste it here, and sorry, pz is here. Control C. Now you can see it is increasing. It goes up and then comes back. Okay, we'll paste. Now the whole thing, I'll just save it. Please remember to close the CSV file. Let us close these also. They are not interested. We are not interested in them. And we'll again go back to RoboAnalyzer. Hopefully this time it will work. I know it has been a long video, but please bear with me because robotics is not very simple. KR5 IND I am taking so that the initial position is almost the same. I'll go to Cartesian control, click on file, and we'll use new heart shape. Okay, good. So we are now, I'll click on R. This is the so I think we still have an issue with the circular motion. What is that issue? I should have theta. So let me try to resolve that issue in MATLAB, and remaining steps you should be able to do yourself. Let's see. End effector circular arc P1 plus P2 by 2. Maybe this length is the culprit. P1 plus P2, P1 plus P2 by 2. When we do, we'll have 800. We'll have, okay, now I know what could be the issue. 800 minus 800, C1 is 850,000, that is fine. P1 minus C1 will be 0. Okay, we'll just see here what is radius. We'll understand whether radius is the culprit. Radius is shown as 3, which is not correct. R cos theta. So this length, okay, so the length is basically, it is giving me the number of coordinates it is having. It is not giving me the, okay, my mistake. I should have used norm. Okay, norm of a vector has to be used. I'm extremely sorry, because I just keep changing between programming languages. In length is there in GeoGebra, here it is called norm. So if we run this, see, it's also good we come across these errors, okay, because you will have to develop the debugging capabilities the way we are doing right now, just to make sure whether we are getting it correct. See, radius is 50, which is correct now. Okay, finally let's do it one last time before I wrap it up. So we have the px, py, pz output. Again, I'm going to use px output, py output, and pz output. I'll just try to do it one last time. Again, whatever we do have some reason for it not to work. Okay, so that's okay. Things like this happen with experienced people also. That is why we should never be afraid of live programming. Okay, live programming is always bound to have these kind of issues. So I'll just try to do it in another 2-3 minutes. Okay, so those files have been obtained. Let me just px, py, pz, I'll open them. Anyway, x, there is no problem, 800s will remain 800s. Only in y, control C, I'll open new heart shape. So here I'll have the new data for y, and similarly for z, control C, and let me delete this, type z, save it, close the CSV file, go to RoboAnalyzer, go to virtual robots, select KUKA KR5 IND. IND stands for Independence, so we had made this for one of the Independence Day celebrations. And we'll go to Cartesian control and click on file, and I hope it will work fine. Let me go to front view and I'll just click on start. It is going up. Good. So here you can see it is doing 2 semicircles and again coming down. Okay, so to wrap up what we have done, we have written a code that looks like this. So let me scroll to get the final version of the code. These are till line number 27, and then these are the lines for the remaining part, 27 to 53, and finally we'll have the remaining part, px, py, pz. We get it as a column, and we use this CSV write function to save the CSV files, which are saved. If you are using desktop version, it will be saved on your computer. If you are using a web version, it will be saved somewhere on the cloud. You download those files, they will have x, y, z coordinate. Then you open create a new CSV file which will have xy component in 3 columns. then 3 angles the way I have explained, and then finally in RoboAnalyzer virtual robot module you will be able to play that. With that, I would like to end this rather long session. Sorry for the mix up in between. That is natural in any programmer, especially someone who is using 2-3 programming languages. Okay, thank you, and we wish you are getting benefited through these video tutorials.